Death, a shadow that haunts every corner of our lives. But in Japan, death is not just an event, it's a presence, an entity. And in the shadows, behind the veils of this world and the next, the Shinigami watch, waiting. Welcome to the world of Japan's death gods, the Shinigami, harbingers of the end, and gatekeepers of the afterlife. Welcome back to Ancient Deities Dossier, and today we begin with this unique figure in history. The Shinigami are not part of Japan's ancient lore. These deathly figures emerged only in the Edo period, Japan's era of isolation and introspection. But where did they come from? Influences of Buddhism, Shinto, and the Western Grim Reaper blend in this chilling creation. As Japan opened its doors to new ideas and philosophies, death itself became personified, and the Shinigami were born. Let's begin. The Shinigami's role is simple, yet terrifying. They don't cause death, they guide it. As a soul's time approaches, these enigmatic beings appear, sometimes as guides, sometimes as silent watchers, making sure the balance of life and death is never disturbed. But not all encounters with a Shinigami are peaceful. Some say they can drive their victims to madness, accelerating their own demise. The first real glimpse of the Shinigami appeared in Rakugo theater, a form of comedic storytelling. But this was no joke. In the tale of the Death God, a man encounters a Shinigami who controls life and death through the flickering of candles. Some burn bright, but for others, the flame dwindles until it's gone. In no theater, the Shinigami was portrayed as a more malevolent figure, tricking humans into self-destructive behavior. They push us to our limits, whispering temptations, leading us down the paths we shouldn't walk. In Buddhist philosophy, death is not the end. It's a transformation. Some believe Shinigami are the guides who carry our souls from this world to the next. But they aren't saviors, they're the watchers. They make sure every soul follows the path assigned to them, never straying from destiny. In one of the most chilling depictions, the Shinigami holds your life in the form of a candle. As long as it burns, so do you. But when the flame starts to die, the Shinigami comes, and no one can escape the moment that light is extinguished. Shinigami aren't just symbols of death. They're reflections of humanity's fear of the unknown, the constant shadow of our inevitable end. In Japan, death isn't something to be feared. It's a natural part of life. And the Shinigami? They ensure the cycle continues. In modern times, the Shinigami has evolved. Today, they appear in anime, manga, and video games as fearsome yet relatable figures. Take Death Note, where the Shinigami is not only a god of death, but an amused observer of human folly. Or Bleach, where Shinigami take on the role of soul reapers, battling restless spirits. Ryuk is not your typical god of death. He's curious, mischievous, and utterly indifferent to the suffering he causes. For him, humans are a source of entertainment, and life and death are just part of a game. In Bleach, Shinigami are protectors, warriors who maintain the balance between the living and the dead. But even these heroic figures are bound by the same fate. They too will eventually be guided by the Shinigami when their time comes. Are Shinigami evil? Or are they simply part of the natural order? Throughout the ages, these beings have been depicted as both malicious and merciful. But one thing remains certain: they are the ultimate equalizer. No one escapes their grasp. In the West, death comes as a skeletal figure wielding a scythe. But the Shinigami, though just as terrifying, are more elusive. They don't come to take your soul by force. They appear when it's time. They are not executioners, but guides. And when your candle burns low, they'll be there. You won't see them, you won't hear them, but they'll be watching, always watching. Legend has it that those who see the Shinigami are already marked. If you ever feel a chill in the air, or catch a glimpse of a figure at the edge of your vision, you might be seeing your own Shinigami, waiting. Though the Shinigami is part of mythology, there are countless tales of real-life encounters. People who claim to have seen shadowy figures just before their loved ones passed. Coincidence, or something more? Even today, the Shinigami has a presence in Japan's culture. Shrines, festivals, and prayers are still offered to death gods, asking for safe passage into the next life. The Shinigami may have originated in the past, but their influence remains powerful. The Shinigami doesn't just represent death, but the journey beyond it. They are said to be the gatekeepers who ensure every soul reaches its destined place. In some tales, they guide souls to peace, to the next life, or even to face judgment. Their presence reminds us that death isn't the end, but a doorway to a realm we know little about. Where that path takes us, only the Shinigami know. They remain the silent watchers, ensuring the flow between worlds remains unbroken. And perhaps one day they'll guide us along that journey as well. The Shinigami does not offer comfort or fear. They simply guide the soul to its destination. Whether it's peace or turmoil, that's not for them to decide. Their purpose is clear: to ensure that no soul remains trapped between worlds. From ancient tales to modern media, the Shinigami continues to captivate our imagination. Whether depicted as fearsome warriors or detached observers, their presence in pop culture reflects our ongoing fascination with death and the afterlife. In stories both old and new, they remind us that death is never far away, and that our time will eventually come. Perhaps one day, you'll find yourself staring into the shadows, wondering if the Shinigami is watching you, waiting patiently for your candle to flicker out. When that day comes, you'll know there's no escape. The Shinigami is eternal, and one day they will come for us all. Sleep well tonight, and keep an eye on the shadows. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the mysteries of the past. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to Ancient Deities Dossier for more mythological deep dives. Don't forget to hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all of our latest content. Follow us on Facebook and TikTok for more tidbits. And if you can, consider subscribing to our Patreon. The link is in the description. Remember, death is only the beginning, and the Shinigami are always watching. This is Ancient Deities Dossier signing off. As always, seekers of the arcane, stay curious, stay mythical.